Hi all, this is Ruby Blow of Development Counts. I know it's been a long time since I've shot a video, but I wanted to come on today just to share a couple of thoughts that came out of my morning supervision meeting. Basically, a couple of my supervisees, but one in particular, was asking the question, how do you find work in the field that's work that you want to do that's not traumatizing, especially if you want to work with trauma or work with crisis. And that doesn't happen to be my interest, but it's an interest for a lot of people. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about my experiences early in the field, and I won't be long. When I was 22 years old, in my graduate program, my training director tried to encourage me to take an internship position at the Metro Women's Prison. I might be saying the name wrong because I don't know anything about prisons. But anyway, it was a women's prison, and I wanted to go to a community counseling center where I could really learn how to be a psychotherapist. Now, this was back in the day where people actually came to the community counseling center for therapy, not where we went out to their homes. And I had learned about this great placement. And when I went in to meet with the training director, she really encouraged me to go to the Metro Women's Prison. Hey, Dejemi. And so I said to her, I said, hey, gorgeous. I said, what makes you think that I would be a good fit for the women's prison? And she said, well, there's a large African-American population or Black woman population at the prison. And so I think you could serve them well. So essentially, she was suggesting, I'm a Black woman, they're Black, I should go to the prison to serve them. Now, I happen to be someone who, I don't even enjoy watching TV shows about people being in prison, okay? Like, I'm not about that life at all. I don't want to see it, I don't want to be around it. I know someone has to do that work. I know people in prison need to be served. I don't begrudge my colleagues who do that work, but it's not for me. And at 22 years old, what I said to her was, no, I don't think I want to go on that interview. I really want to go on this interview at the Hub Counseling Center. Now, at that time, this was back in 96 or 97, the internship requirement was 9 months and 16 hours a week. The counseling center where I wanted to go for an interview required a 12-month commitment, so that was 3 months longer, and 20 hours a week, so that was 4 hours more per week than what the requirement was at the time. And when I told the training director where I wanted to go for an interview and where I wanted to do my internship, she said, are you sure that you want to make that type of commitment? So she wasn't exactly discouraging me, but she wasn't encouraging me either. And I said, yeah, absolutely, that's where I want to go. And that one decision is probably the most important decision I ever made in my career. And essentially it was this. It was a decision about what I was saying yes to, what I was co-creating in my own life. That one move alone of doing that internship, where I happened to be one of 4 interns who was accepted, the only intern who was a master's level intern. All of the others were psychologists in their psychology programs, doctoral level students. I happened to be the youngest intern. I happened to be the only Black intern. There was another Black staff person, and the staff was LMFTs, LPCs. I think there was maybe one social worker at the time, psychologists, and they literally trained me how to work with adults, couples, adolescents, children, family therapy. And when they hired me as a staff psychotherapist, I began to learn how to be a supervisor. They began to train me in supervision. That is unheard of. I didn't even know all of what I would get. But I knew I was going somewhere that was going to let me practice psychotherapy and meet with people for ongoing therapeutic support, whether it be mental health or personal development. There are so many people who want to be therapists who are accepting jobs where you only get to do case management. Maybe you're doing some crisis intervention. You're trying to get people into housing. There's nothing wrong with that work. That work is necessary. It's needed. But I'm telling you that if you want to be a therapist, you need to go do work that's therapy. And how you find that work, and how you find that work in a way that's not traumatizing, is by saying no to jobs that are going to be traumatizing. Now, there are some people where that work doesn't traumatize them, and that's fine. But if you're doing trauma and crisis work day in, day out, and the work is not set up to give you a break, to give you variety, to allow you to have ongoing therapeutic relationships, you are not going to feel confident at the end of your 3 years or whatever towards licensure. So I want to encourage supervisors who are listening, people who are working towards licensure, people who are graduating from graduate school or planning to go to graduate school. The most important decision you'll ever make are the ones that have to do with what are you saying yes to and what are you saying no to. Some people stay in jobs that don't allow them to learn what they need to learn because on some level it's comfortable, even though it's stressful, or because maybe the money is decent. And I ask you, what price is too high if in the end of the shift you have a migraine, you haven't eaten, your agency or organization does not care about your well-being, you're too depleted to give to yourself and to people in your own life? We get to co-create the work life that we want, just like the rest of our lives. And how can we believe that and know that if we don't practice it, if we don't walk in it? I'm not saying therapists have to be perfect and can't make poor career choices. What I'm saying to you is, if you ask me the question, how do you create a career that you'll love? Stop saying yes to the things that you hate and start saying yes to the things that you actually want. Okay? So this is what I'm writing about in my blog this week. If you don't get my blog, you can sign up at developmentcounts.com. Just scroll to the bottom of the page. Many of you are on my list already. Thanks for watching this video. And, hopefully you found something for yourself or for someone else. Take care, everyone. Bye.